Now we will see how are these effects observed. I know we are remaining to study the last postulate. Before that, we will study what Einstein did for Einstein postulate of quantization of the area of sorry I am extremely sorry for that. Einstein's postulate of quantization of energy and photoelectric effect equation. Now here they have said that the quantum energy of the photon or the particle matter is In. E is equal to sorry not In, E is equal to h nu. If you see don't see it properly, you will see it E is equal to In. The Planck's constant is given at 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34, and nu is the frequency of the wave property. This is the first part which I had already discussed with you in the first lecture. Now explaining the postulates, what do they say? That there could be a function, work function, which is being made available. Now why is this work function required? Work function is the capability of the metal to emit an electron when certain amount of frequency of light falls on it. This is the first property. Then the work function is always far smaller than that of your h nu or the quantization energy available. If you want to calculate the frequency of or the minimum frequency or the threshold frequency because of which photoelectric work function is being generated, then you will see that frequency is equal to work function and divided by Planck's constant. Then we will see at which frequency or nu there will be emission of the photon, or you can say emission of the electron when photon falls on it. So the minimum frequency required should be more than threshold frequency. Threshold frequency is given by nu naught over here. Don't mistakenly take it as velocity. Many students take it mistakenly as velocity and the entire equation gets spoiled, is what I want to tell you all. The energy given by photon to the electron is as soon as the radiation is incident on the surface, there is exchange of energy. So the photon starts becoming stable on the metal surface and the electron gets energized, and the energy get is responsible for emitting the electron from the metallic surface. According to Einstein's proposition, if intensity of the incident radiation for a wavelength is increased, there is increase in the number of energy quanta, that are photons on per unit area in respective time. So the energy of each quantum being the same, you will get the further equation of energy. Here they have equated h nu with E is equal to mc square. That is the reason you have got the answer. E equal to h nu equal to h c upon lambda, where c is the speed of the light. Conversely, lower intensity implies the number of incident photons, hence less number of ejected electrons, and therefore there is lower current. Now we will move to the fourth postulate. Although I have explained all these properties, I will again explain it in the expectation of Einstein's postulate for quantization of a photon and quantization of energy. Here energy is being provided. In some books it is given as quantization of a photon, or in some books they have given quantization of energy. Once the electron is emitted from the surface, the collector is at higher potential. Now this fundamental they have brought from where? They have brought this fundamental from semiconductors. That also PNP or NPN transistor, these are two types of transistors which are responsible for making any of your semiconductor an amplifier with certain basic properties. You can use them as a oscillator, you can use them for various other purposes. Now, once the electron is emitted from the surface, if the collector is at higher potential than that of emitter, the electric field will accelerate the electron towards the collector. Now this, once again I will tell you, I will explain more in a more better way when we start with semiconductors. We will just study this postulate now. Then higher is the accelerating potential, more will be the number of electrons reaching the collector. Hence the photocurrent I increases with the accelerating potential initially. Moreover, the intensity of the radiation is very much responsible for removing away the electron from the metal surface. Now from metal surface they directly came to semiconductors, means from conductors to semiconductors, and they may try this property even on insulators. Determine now, what does the intensity of radiation determine? The number of photons incident on the metal surface on a unit area is the unit time. It determines the maximum number of electrons that can be knocked off by the incident radiation. Hence, for a given intensity, increasing the accelerating potential can also increase the current only till all the knocked off electrons have reached the collector. No increase can reach the collector so easily till the time there is change in the potential. So you can say that no increase can be seen in the current beyond this limit. This explains the saturation current I naught. Now increasing the intensity will increase the number of incident photons and eventually the saturation current. We had also discussed in brief about the saturation current in the last lecture. If the frequency of the incident radiation is more than the threshold frequency, then the energy work function, here phi naught explains basic threshold work function which can be obtained because of the threshold frequency, is used by the electron to escape from the metal surface, and remaining energy of the photon becomes kinetic energy of the electron. Depending upon the energy of the electron inside the metal and other processes like collision after emission from the surface, the maximum kinetic energy which could be obtained, that is maximum kinetic energy h nu minus the work function in the threshold form. So Ke is equal to h nu minus work function with threshold work function, that is h nu minus phi naught. So this is known as photoelectric equation depending upon Ke max on the material on the emitter plate varies linearly with the incident frequency nu. It is dependent on the independent of the intensity of the incident radiation. Now we will come to the seventh part. The electrons that are emitted from the metal surface have different kinetic energies. The reason for this is manifolds. All electrons in solid do not possess the same energy. The electrons may be ejected from varying depths inside the metal surface. The electrons may suffer collision before they come to the metal surface. They may even lose energy if V, that is the potential difference between the emitter and collector. This property again comes from semiconductors. So what is emitter, what is collector? In brief I will explain you in semiconductors chapter, and we will relearn this postulate in the semiconductors chapter. Currently, just understand it how much ever you can get into it. So we will come back to the potential difference between the emitter and the collector. At the lower potential, an electron will lose its kinetic energy in overcoming the retarding force. Means when there is head-on collision between two electrons in any surface, there are high number of chances that the electron may lose energy, may obtain energy, may come to the metal, to the surface of the metal, and may can be even getting ejected. Means this is called as a competition between the electrons in order to give the photoelectric effect to us. Now, if the kinetic energy is not sufficient, the emitted electrons may not reach the collector and the photocurrent will be zero. If Ke, that is the kinetic energy which is available at a maximum level, the most energetic electron at the emitter surface, where the potential energy is zero, and minus V naught is the stopping potential. Then this electron will fail to reach the collector, that is the kinetic energy, maximum kinetic energy in electron volt, which is given, where E is the charge of the electron and V naught is the minimum threshold potential difference required. So kinetic energy should be lesser than this threshold potential and the charge of the electron. Here both the products we have to consider. If the electron just fails to reach the collector, it has lost all the kinetic energy just at the collector. Therefore, Ke, that is maximum kinetic energy, will be equal to E into V naught. So here V naught is the minimum potential difference. The photo current becomes zero. Then explains that stopping potential V naught depends on the incident frequency and the material of the emitter and does not depend upon the incident intensity. If the ejected electrons, now this is the eighth postulate, then we will discuss about the ninth postulate. Now, if the ejected electrons have kinetic energy more than electron volt energy, E into V naught is called as electron volt energy. So, electrons can reach the collector, hence current flows. When kinetic energy of the electron is less than equal to electron volt energy, no current will flow. Photocurrent will be coming to the value 0. So Ke max is equal to electron volt. Using Ke max is equal to electron into volt, we can write EV naught is equal to h nu minus of basic photoelectric function or the threshold photoelectric function. So basic electron volt potential, or the basic potential which is given by V naught to us, is obtained by the formula H upon the charge of the electron multiplied by the frequency, and also by subtracting the work function upon the charge of the electron. So the above equation tells that V naught varies linearly with incident frequency and the slope of the straight line depends on h and uh, the charge of the electron. Now, while the intercept of the line depends on the material through work function phi naught. Thus, the slope of lines is same and is independent of the material of the emitter, but intercepts at different points for different materials. Now we will see the ninth postulate. All the above arguments thus bring out the fact that the magnitude of the photocurrent depends on the intensity through the number of photoelectrons and the potential V of the collector, but not on the incident frequency nu, as long as nu is greater than nu naught. Thus, all the observations related to the experiment on the photoelectric effect were explained by Einstein by the hypothesis. Hypothesis means considerations of existence of the photon or treating light as bundles of energy. Although he gave hypothesis in 1905, it was not widely communicated in the scientific community. In uh, 1909, when Millikan measured the charge of electron and the value of h, that is Planck's constant, matched the value by Planck. The hypothesis was accepted. The work function values of certain metals were confirmed. Einstein and Millikan received Nobel Awards for these respective discoveries in 1921 and 1923. According to Einstein, what exactly happened is what we have to study now. According to Einstein, energy of radiation frequency comes in bundles with the magnitude h nu. The energy of light beam having n photons will have n h nu, where n can be the integral value. It is responsible means they are giving certain value to the amount of photons which are getting incident on the surface. Is it possible to vary the incident energy? Yes, definitely. Which, why do we not see individual photon? We will understand this issue with this example which is available on page 313, and the example is the wavelength of the incident light is 4000 angstrom. Angstrom is a unit. 1 angstrom is equal to 10 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters, and zero point 0.1 is watt is the incident intensity or intensity of light of the incident value available. What is the change in the light energy? What is the number of incident photons? Give incident intensity. It is given by 0.1 watt. So energy, I know watt is unit of power, but here we will use it for energy because we all know power is calculated in joule second. So only factor which is not available over here is which factor? That is time. Now lambda is equal to 400 angstroms, which is equal to 400 sorry, not 400, 4000 angstroms multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. So the energy which is available here is calculated by E is equal to h nu, which is equal to hc upon lambda. So h is Planck's constant 6.63 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules second multiplied by speed of light 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second divided by 4000 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. So you will get the answer 4.97 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. Now this is the minimum change in the energy, which is very small. This energy should be continuous in order to get the desired result. So now the number of photons to which this energy could be divided is available over here. The number of photons n is incident per second is n equal to 0.1 divided by 4.97 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. So you will get the approximate answer over here 2 into 10 to the power of 17 are the number of photons which were incident per second on the surface in order to produce the photoelectric effect. The number of photons coming out is so large that the eye cannot comprehend or see them. Even if one wishes to count, say, 10 photons per second, it will take 10 to the power of 9 years to see the effect. Now we will see the last postulate, which is associated with increasing the frequency of the incident light. So increasing the frequency of incident light increases the maximum kinetic energy of the electron. Increasing intensity should increase the maximum energy. Moreover, maximum kinetic energy should not depend on the incident frequency. Increasing the frequency increases the first we discussed about the wave theory. Now we are discussing about the photon theory for the photoelectric effect. So increasing the frequency increases the energy of the photon, therefore electrons receive more energy, which results in increasing the maximum kinetic energy. With this we are done for the day. I will solve certain numericals and I will attach the explanation in the editing software and send it to you in the next week, such that we can study all the equations associated.